Good morning, everyone. I hope the sound is okay, and I hope the English language will fit everyone. Is that okay? Bertrand, it's a great pleasure to have you with us today on this KPMG area in the VivaTech extraordinary environment full of vibes, innovation, tech, data, digital. But we're here to talk about something really, really, really important, which is a better future and healthier lives, which is something that I know is close to your heart. You're the Chief Sustainability Officer of Carrefour. You will tell us probably what it means at some stage. But what I wanted to say is that we're going to speak for about 15, 20 minutes here, and then there will be plenty of time for the audience in person to ask any question you may have to Bertrand. And of course, via LinkedIn, we say hello to the online viewers today and those who will review the replay. Thank you for being here. We have this topic, a better future and healthier lives. That's very ambitious. It's quite bold. Is it a bit idealistic and naive to talk about healthier lives and better future in an environment like this in the corporate world?
It's true. Thank you very much for your invitation, and I'm sharing also the same pleasure to be here. And it's true. It's amazing. And speak about healthier life in this world. Yes, I think it's a little bit idealistic. I think so. But in fact, I believe that we need this. We need that, to define an ideal and then to see the future, to shape the future. Because if you do not do that, if you do not think that in the future we won't use any more packaging, if you don't think that in the future perhaps we will live without plastic, or I don't know which type of vision we can have, you won't build it. And I think every startups here, they got a vision. And on this vision, they are building something. And they are building and they are trying to find a solution for this vision. I think on food and on the route we have to write together, I think we also have the same challenge.
But is it, forgive me, I'm a bit challenging today, is it the real role of the corporate world to do that and the private companies like Carrefour to shape a better future? For me, maybe it's also the governments, the EU 27, the G20, who have to think about shaping the future. What's the role of corporate private companies in that respect?
No, I think it's the role of everybody. It's your role, Jean-Marc, and in your daily life, it's the role of everybody, every startup and every companies. We in Carrefour, as a company, what we need to write, we need to write an equity story. We have to write a story for investor, because when you are an investor, you want to finance the company only if the company has a clear vision and you are sharing the vision. For example, our vision, defined by our CEO, it's to build a food transition for all. I think food transition, it means we have a starting point, and today we are at the starting point, and we have to perhaps to involve the consumer, and we have to make sure that the consumer will move in a direction with more organic food, without plastic, with no wastage of food, healthy food, and all of that. And you see, the role of our company is to build that, but for all. I mean, for all, it's key. It's not only for us, and it's not only for just a small amount of committed consumer. I think, Jean-Marc, you are a committed consumer. You are. And your daughter is also a committed consumer. And in fact, what we have to build a future with everybody. And that is key in our purpose. And building the future with everybody, this is the challenge. And everybody means every consumer, but also the government, and also the Europe, and also our suppliers, and also our partners, NGOs, associations, startups. And the main challenge is to build that with everybody. And you know, just on your example with governments, and sometimes we are working closely. For example, in 2018, we decided to remove the plastic bag from bananas. We were selling some bananas, and we decided to remove the plastic bags. And we increased our sales. And we had a discussion with Brune Poisson at this stage in France, but also in Spain. And I say, okay, yes, I think the consumer is ready today. Is ready to understand that the plastic is not useful anymore for vegetable. It was useful to reduce wastage, but it doesn't want plastic anymore. And it doesn't want to have a plastic directly to remove from his shopping bag, directly to remove them and to waste the plastic when he's coming back at home. It doesn't want that anymore. And in 2018, we were building like a legislation in 2020, and the legislation, like it's like it's like climbing a step. So we have to climb first step. But if you need to move and to move all the partner, you need the government to create a legislation and to create a level playing field. And it's exactly what we have done on plastic with fruit and veg.
And the banana.
And the
I
banana.
remember
And
that.
and
Everyone will remember that.
And the cucumber. I think everybody remember, like 4 years ago, we had like a cucumber in a plastic bag. But when we removed that, now you can not imagine how difficult it was. Because you've got a lobby, the plastic lobby, and why we had the plastic bag? Do you know that, Jean-Marc? Why we had the plastic bag with cucumber? You don't know that? No, it's amazing. We create this plastic bag just for hygienic reason, the first one, and also to keep it longer, to reduce wastage of food. Because in our supply chain, if you are gaining like 1 day or 2 days in supply chain, you are gaining money. And it's exactly the reason why we did that. So when I decide to remove that, we have to adapt the supply chain, and everybody adapt the supply chain, and today, it's done. And I'm sure that everybody here, they do not want to come back to the cucumber in a plastic bag.
Absolutely not, clearly. And when you're talking ecosystem, basically, working with partners, suppliers, and to address the consumer and the shoppers, I suspect you have to work closely with the brands as well, what we call the manufacturers, the packaged good companies. Do you team up with them in order to reach healthier lives for the end consumer, for the shopper? Do you have coalitions? We are working on one together, but can you explain a bit on that as well?
We don't have the choice. We don't have the choice. In fact, you need to work with manufacturer, with supplier. You need to work with everybody. But you have to select them. When we start the first coalition, we were asking for a volunteer to work with us, but it's not enough. You need to select the best partner with your supplier. For example, we launched what we call a plant-based contest. And to select the best partner, we create a contest. And in this contest, we have like a jury, and we select the best partner. When you've got your only five best partner, you can move, and you've got agility, enough agility, because when you have like a big corporate like Danone, like Bell, like Unilever, you can imagine how difficult sometimes it can be to move and to move together. So you need to select five, and with 5 partners you are moving, and for Health Your Life, yes. You can imagine, you see the store, supermarket, and you see at the cashier, you've got some sweets, and you got sweets and everything, like I think for me it's unhealthy food. And my dream will be to remove this from the cashier and to have like some fruit and veg instead, or some perhaps organic products, and we can do it. But we can do it only with the suppliers and with all our supply chain.
Could you elaborate as 1 or 2 examples on the coalition for healthier lives that you're running, driving, leading together with Danone, we can see it, and Unilever? Could you say a few examples for the audience here? But I think it's very clear then.
And for example, what we did we were like 10 companies, and with 10 companies we decided to test everything. We were in a store in Lyon, and we decided, okay, the most difficult part of our job is to make sure that if you want to eat better, you need to change your diet and to change your habits. Perhaps you don't know that in France, for example, you've got only perhaps 10 recipes, and you are eating 10 recipes, perhaps 14, 15, and in England it's 7. And when you are in a store and when you are behind your trolley or online, you are buying always the same products, and sometimes you are not buying a cauliflower, because you've got a cauliflower in your hand and you say, okay, oh, yeah.
What do I do with that?
What can I do with that? What can I do with that? So sometimes you will have some frozen food, and then, no, you have to cook that. We don't have the choice. And you have perhaps to have the cauliflower with a bechamel.
And I do a gratin.
With Unilever.
That's delicious.
With Unilever, you can have a bechamel, our cauliflower without pesticide, and then you can have like, I don't know, in the bechamel, cauliflower, and then Cheese, of course, cheese. Jean-Marc, you have to go back in the kitchen.
I will review my notes just afterwards.
So you can have a cheese with another brand, and you know, with 3 brands, we can involve the consumer, make an offer all together, and make sure that he will come back in his trolley with something new. And it's really what we have to do. You can imagine how difficult it is to transform the habits and to make sure that you will cook something new at home. And you can do, we test that in store, but it didn't work. It didn't work. I don't know how, we test that in 10 stores, and you have like a cauliflower, bechamel, and cheese, but it didn't work. That's why we start again, and we on e-commerce. On e-commerce, it's much easier. Because on e-commerce, you have on one click, you can put all the products in your basket, and then it's done. That's why we launched what we call the LC bundles. And today, every month, we've got the LC bundles with 3 brands, and we are selling brands, products, and all of that.
And it has to have, because we're in also corporate world, a business impact. And as you described, it's good to work on healthier lives, on a better futures for the consumers, but Carrefour also has to benefit from that on an economic point of view. And I would like to ask you, what's the plan of Carrefour for the next 10 years? We talk a lot about ESG, environment, social, governance, about corporate social responsibility, sustainable products. But what's the plan to do all of that which is essential, vital, there is no choice, but also remain economically driven and positive?
No, but when you say it's also economically driven, no, it's economically driven. When in CSR, in ESG, to be like to gain your legitimacy, it must be economically driven. And I got only one KPIs on healthy food, the sales. Do I sell more cauliflower? Is that true? And you have no. It's like it's like a paradigm. You don't have the choice. And CSR, I think in CSR, it's not the old definition of ESG. It was like environmental, social. No, it's not that. It must be driven by your business. Your business, my business is to buy products and to sell products. So I need to involve the consumer to buy more products and all that, but healthy products. And I have to measure how many healthy products I am able to sell. So that is key. It's a key topic.
Thanks for sharing it. And actually what you describe is a full transformation of your company, driven both by economic performance, or first by economic performance, and also by ESG.
And we have to measure that, Jean-Marc. Yeah. And today, when I say that, we've got like accountability. I say, how do you say accountability?
Accounting.
Accounting. You've got accounting, but what do you counting? In fact, only euro. No, it's not possible in the future. It's not possible in the future. You must perhaps evaluate a goodwill. You must evaluate something new, climate impact, positive impact in the future. And we need KPMG to do that. And we do not have the choice. We have to monitor also other KPIs. To monitor euro, we did that since
the euro was born.
But we have to change. We have to change. We don't have the choice.
Thanks. I think that's very, very important. That's the impact message of today. One question. We're here at VivaTech. This transformation of Carrefour, the retailers, the food industry, how is it enhanced or augmented by digital technology, data, of which we're always talking here at VivaTech?
Data, it's everywhere. But, technology, I've got perhaps 2 examples. You can imagine that we've got some blockchain program. We've got, in fact, in Carrefour, you've got some eggs. And with eggs, you've got a QR code, and you can flash the QR code, and you've got all the information behind the eggs. Where does it come from? You know exactly the name of the farmer and everything. That is key. Does it work today? No, the consumer, they don't use that today. It's okay. But I believe that transparency will be key in the future. And we must be transparent in our supply chain. And the consumer, you want to build trust with the consumer only if you are transparent. And technology, it's key. And for example, when you are buying some products on bulk, for example, you are buying, Jean-Marc, I'm 100% sure, some peanuts on bulk. No.
Today. tomorrow.
Okay. But
Tomorrow.
when you've got your peanuts at home, you do not have any information. But we've got a QR code, and on the QR code, you've got all the information. And we work with a startup based here in VivaTech, Mayam. And with Mayam, we create a link between the product in our store and the product at home. And we've got all the information. 2 examples. The third one, for example, if you want to know if you want to avoid deforestation, you want to make sure that in Brazil, when you are buying beef, you would want to make sure that you are not creating deforestation, and we've got like a monitoring system, a geo-monitoring system with satellite, and with satellite we are able to monitor every farmers, and if it appears that a fire in Amazonia and all that, we are able to cut the commercial relation, just because of geo-monitoring, and you've got all the information on your cell phone, and I think in the future tech will be key in sustainability. And to be key in sustainability, it must be also carbon neutral. Because it must be, the counterpart must be like you have to reduce your impact using all the device.
The green IT and the green tech.
Green IT and green tech. But tech for CSA is key. Tech for CSA is key in the future.
I see time is passing by very, very quickly, but we love working and talking with you, Bertrand. Maybe one more question. You're in this role of Chief Sustainability Officer. You've been doing that, and you do it, I know, with passion and enthusiasm, and you're contagious when you speak. What's your personal conviction? What's the message you want to give here to the people at VivaTech, those here, those online, those who will review it in replay? What's your punchline of the day, Bertrand?
The punchline of the day, yes, it's a challenge. That is a challenge. No, I think, well, it's very difficult to build the future, and when you are doing like Fresque du Climat, and you are aware of the situation and on the climate change, and it can be like it's very difficult, and I'm not sure we are on the right direction. We won't achieve the targets, but when you say that we won't achieve the targets, say okay, so we don't have to do anything, but you have to act, and you have to test, you have to learn, and you have to act, and you have to act every day. And for example, the challenge we have in Carrefour is to act every week. Something new every week. We don't know. Something new every week. Sometimes it can be small, very small, big, very big. But at the end, it creates like creates like an ambience, and a positive ambience, a positive competition between retailers, and all of that, it will create something. And you must be fully convinced that we will go somewhere. But you have to test, and something like that. You don't have to create any PowerPoint to decide what you will do in 1 year. You have to do it now.
I like that. Step by step, you use the picture of the ladder as well. You go step by step. You do one thing, one after the next. And what I call this is do one thing, DOT. And what we have to do, everyone, is connect the dots, the DOTs of everyone. Good. So that's something I would like now to maybe open the floor to the question of the audience. If anyone has a question, then we'll happily share the mic. And don't be shy. Anne, you must have a question.
Just a question. I know that Carrefour is located in several countries, and especially in countries where there are topics around sustainability, like Brazil. So how are you expecting to manage this kind of topics?
You mean in Brazil, in different countries?
Yes, also.
We've got 5 main pillars. The first one, climate, biodiversity, climate, health, and supply chain. And in all the countries, we have to work in that direction. And then in each country, you are identifying the key expectation from consumer. For example, key expectation from consumer in France, it's zero plastic, zero wastage of food, local food, nutrition, and the fifth one, it's sustainable agriculture. This is in France. In Spain, it's different. In Brazil, it's deforestation, it's packaging, and in every country it's different. But So you have to act on these 5 expectations because you've got the consumer with you. But you have to build a story on the 5 pillars I mentioned before. Is that clear? So 5 pillars for the corporate and 5 expectations in every country. And acting every week. 1 action every week in all the country.
To simplify, you can also ask your question in French if you prefer.
Or in Franglish. Huh?
So thank you very much for this speech. One question: do you think that now every division in the company is really involved in CSR, or do you think it's remain your role to convince every other, in particular the financial director?
I think it's moving very fast, and you have to keep. You have appropriation. It's not done. Appropriation is like a continuous process, and you don't have the choice. And I think to involve everybody, when you need to have some success. So our strategy is to have success in every division. We call that BU. For example, with financial team and with Mathieu Malige, our CFO, today is involved in ESG because we did a SLB, and on SLB, he really had the feeling that the expectation from investor were very high. And so you need to have like a success in every division, but accumulate success in order to involve everybody. But no, we still have a lot of job.
Maybe one more?
Yeah, it was just a quick comment. You know, when you were discussing about making cauliflower cheese and everything, and you said that it didn't really work when you tried to present it in France. Don't you think it's just a question of time? Because when you go to the US or the UK, they do that, and maybe 5 years ago it didn't work, but you go to like some of these big shops like Waitrose, and they have like cards, and it's all sort of laid out, and there's all recommendations. So I think that it might not have worked maybe today, but I think it'll be...
You are fully right. And sometimes, for example, on another topic on packaging, we removed the packaging from toothpaste 5 years ago. It has been a disaster. We reduced our sales by 20%. Today, we have a test in 10 stores. We remove the cardboard box, and we are increasing our sales. So yes, it's like a marathon, and we have to wait a little bit, and we have to. And sometimes you don't know why, but perhaps the society, media, and all that, and it's accelerating. You don't know why, but on nutrition, it's clear. Yeah. Because obesity, because you know, in France, we are very far from the obesity. Yeah. It's not obesity. It's not a common topic in our daily life in France, but in England, it is. It's amazing.
I disagree with
that. Yeah, because you are English. In Mexico, it's amazing. And obesity is starting to be like a topic in many countries, but it's not today in France. But it will be, I think, next year or in 2 years, it will be a topic.
Yeah, but I think even that, if I may say so, is a bit of a cycle, because I think, you know, if you go to somewhere like New York, maybe 30 years ago when you went to New York, I think the people were a lot bigger. And I think now they have real like whole food markets, and they've taken their food to a different level. So I think it's all cyclical. I think there's trends, there's education. And I think that was the other point I wanted to make. I think that shops and companies have an educational role.
It's one of our responsibilities. It's key.
Yeah, I think so.
Merci. Maybe a final question. If not, I have one.
She's complaining because you're speaking badly about the Brits. What type of impact do you have on the manufacturers, on your suppliers? Do you think you can move them towards more sustainability in the products they manufacture? Is there anything?
Yes, we can. We can, sure. But you need to involve them, and you need to make sure that sometimes when you are doing, I would say, like a deposit system for packaging, it's a small project. In a world where, in a world with big projects, and you have to make sure that the CEO of the company is fully aware of this project. And if it is, And it is the case, for example, with PepsiCo, with Unilever, with Danone, and it's a success. But if not, it's very difficult to work together. But we can really, we did it, and with many companies, you can really do something together. It's not an expectation from the retailer. You have to do that, and you don't have the choice. It's not like that. You have to build together.
Do you have, Bertrand, any final advice? We at KPMG, we are advisors. So we keep on advising clients in consumer products, in retail, in luxury goods, and many, many other sectors. What would be your advice to advisors? What should we do next in order to have more impact, which is the name of our offer in ESG? What would you recommend?
I'm not an expert, but what I would say sometimes with advisor, we've got some strategic pillar, and you have to do that. You have to be carbon neutral, and you have a roadmap to be carbon neutral. And on many topics, you are an expert, and you help us to have a benchmark, and it's really helpful for us. But sometimes we have to when we have to do it, we do not have an example. You see what I mean? I think the most difficult part of my job is not to define a strategy and to know where we have to go. The most difficult part of my job is to make it real for our consumer every day. And I think if you've got the secrets, if you are able to make sure that we've got, for each company you're advising, you've got 5 concrete examples done and 5 concrete success, I think we will move faster.
Thank you very, very much, Bertrand. It's really a pleasure to have you. And a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean-Marc. Thank you all.